Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Thank you for being an awesome pledge hammer on Patreon, the $100 man, CD Horvair. Buddy Murphy finally has a match on TV, and something it was a Match of the Year candidate. Roman Reigns' attacker will be revealed next week, and Kevin Owens is fined money! And can we all breathe a sigh of relief that The Fiend is safe in WWE? I am Luke Owen. Click the timestamps down below to jump to any of those stories, press the thumbs up and subscribe buttons, and leave a comment down below to answer our question of the day. Who do you think attacked Roman Reigns if it wasn't Rowan? And vote in the poll above my head to let me know what you thought of the show, where you could choose from Smacknificent, Smacktastic, Smack Bang in the Middle Smackdowner, and a smack in the face. This is the 13th of August 2019 edition of SmackDown Live. The show was opened by Kevin Owens, who came out to a thunderous superstar reaction. He said that he was putting Shane in his rearview mirror so he could focus on the King of the Ring tournament, which has been won by such WWE legends as Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Brock Lesnar, and Billy Gunn. This, of course, brought out Shane O'Mac, who said that Owens cheated at SummerSlam and their feud must continue. And for attacking Elias, who was a WWE official in their SummerSlam match, Shane fined Owens $100,000! Which got zero reaction from the Toronto crowd. And they didn't react any more when Owens attacked Shane's TV with a chair backstage. Monetary fines don't hold the weight that WWE writers or Vince McMahon think they do. And it just opens up kayfabe questions like, why didn't Shane just suspend him or take him out of the King of the Ring tournament? But never mind that, we've got some really good women's action coming up as Ember Moon took on Charlotte Flair. To the surprise of absolutely no one, seeing as though all she's done for the last few weeks is get beat up and lose, the crowd didn't buy into Ember Moon at all at the start of the match. But she's so good, and Flair gave her so much, that the two turned the crowd around by the finish. Moon sold her leg throughout the match. What a dork, right, Seth? And Flair was superb in getting Moon over, winning with a big boot and a figure eight. I just hope this doesn't set Flair up as the next contender to Bayley, but really, who else could it possibly be? After a recap of the Roman Reigns attacker storyline, Daniel Bryan and Roman came out to call Buddy Murphy a liar and say they'll expose the truth later tonight. Roman was wearing a Hatebreed t-shirt, which is cool, but I've always been more of a fan of Hatebeak. Aleister Black is back in his cupboard cutting promos, and then came what some are calling the best WWE match of 2019 in Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy. Now, I do want to clarify that with all the great wrestling we've had in 2019, particularly the stunning G1 coming to a close on Monday, this is the best WWE match of 2019. And while I don't personally agree, I do think this was an excellent match. The crowd was so hot for Murphy and wanted to see him do well, and Roman gave him every opportunity to do so. And being the incredible wrestler that he is, Murphy took all of his shots, getting several 2 counts on Roman following wicked knee shots and an amazing near fall off a brainbuster that the crowd totally bought into. Roman eventually hit the Superman punch and spear for the win, but the night belonged to Buddy Murphy, and it almost felt like a babyface turn. It may have taken WWE 4 months to find something for him to do, but I'm hoping this is the beginning of a big push for Buddy Murphy, and credit to Roman Reigns, who made him look amazing in defeat. As I said, I didn't think this was WWE's best match of the year, but it's probably the best match on SmackDown since Kofi Kingston's original Gauntlet match. Kayla Braxton interviewed The Revival, who called the 24/7 title and New Day a joke, and she interviewed New Day themselves, who said they would beat Revival in their match tonight. Kofi Kingston was seemingly given AJ Styles' post-SummerSlam script from last year, though, as he said that Randy went too far when he got his family involved. So WWE writers only have a few templates to work with. Family man Kevin Owens took on Samoa Joe next, with Elias as the guest ring enforcer, even though Shane had said earlier in the night that he wasn't there and the 24/7 rule was suspended. This was more angle than match, with Elias pulling the ref out of the ring following a pop-up powerbomb and fast counting Owens after Joe rolled him up. And the main event was set to be New Day versus Revival, but Randy Orton came out to call Kofi Kingston a coward and say that he ran away from their fight, challenging New Day to a 6-man instead. The match was mostly the heels working over Xavier Woods woods, but it built to a fun and chaotic final few minutes, with Kofi hitting a huge dive onto Orton and Revival picking up the win with a Shatter Machine, which one would assume puts them in line for a SmackDown tag title shot at Clash of Champions. Orton laid out each member of New Day after the match with various and thunderous RKOs. This angle was so much better than all of the build going into SummerSlam, and has added some serious and much needed heat to their eventual rematch at the next pay-per-view. Earlier in the night, Rowan and Bryan beat up Murphy backstage and told him to admit that he was lying, which apparently he was, and then told Roman Reigns after the main event that they've been doing their own investigation, and next week they're going to reveal the culprit. This was a really fun edition of SmackDown Live. It didn't have the big news story like Sasha Banks returning on Raw, but it didn't need to. Instead, it added more intrigue to the Roman Reigns and Owen Shane storylines, and it had great in-ring TV action to boot. So that's a really good episode of Raw and a terrific episode of SmackDown. Canada really is Bizarro Land. This week's SmackDown Live is a high smacktastic. And now over to Pete with the news.
Top-notch review, Luke, and a top-notch SmackDown to boot. With all these wrestlers coming out of the woodwork and being featured now, with Buddy Murphy finally wrestling, Aleister Black on the rise, The Fiend shocking everyone at SummerSlam, it's about time for a return of my boy Rusev, isn't it? Rusev hasn't been seen on WWE TV since Super Showdown, where he participated in the 51-man Battle Royal. Yes, it was 51, not 50, because WWE can't count. Prior to that, he was on the Superstar Shake-Up in April, and he's essentially been on hiatus ever since. This was reportedly due to creative frustrations over his position in the company, and Rusev himself has done nothing to quell these rumors. He's now posted a sort of update. Responding to a tweet claiming that he and his wife Lana weren't sure what their next step was to be, he said, "Oh, I know what my next step is. Rusev to AEW confirmed." Someone else that hasn't been seen on WWE TV in quite some time, unless she's being called a pioneer or a trailblazer and/or a legend of the women's division, is Alicia Fox. Unfortunately for Fox, it seems like she's gotten herself into a bit of trouble once again. It's being reported by Casey Michael of Squared Circle Sirens that Fox was sent home from SummerSlam by WWE because she showed up drunk and got into a verbal altercation with a fan attending the event. Fox's issues with alcohol are well documented, and they reportedly led to Arn Anderson being fired by WWE after he let her wrestle after turning up drunk to a show. I hope that Alicia gets the help she needs to overcome this problem. But in much more positive news, WWE's been pretty good lately, hasn't it? This has been reflected with a huge bump in ratings following a very well-received SummerSlam. Raw drew an average of 2.729 million viewers, up massively from the previous week's 2.321 million. Interestingly, there was actually an increase in ratings moving from hour 1 to hour 2, showing that it wasn't necessarily a fluke for the first hour. Hopefully this means WWE pay attention to what they've been doing and do more of it, like giving Paul Heyman more control. Speaking of not abandoning what's working, and yesterday I spoke about concerns that WWE may be trying to soften Bray Wyatt's Fiend character and/or get rid of his severed head lantern after his entrance at SummerSlam was heavily edited on their YouTube channel. However, Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live noted that he reached out to several sources within WWE and none of them had heard anything about the severed head lantern being dropped or anything of the sort. In fact, it's quite the opposite, as the lantern will supposedly be part of the marketing for his Mattel action figure. I'm sure that'll go well with parents after all the controversy surrounding Al Snow's head, plus more lanterns are being created for merchandise for them to sell. And on top of this, they've now uploaded his theme song to YouTube too, so if they were trying to keep him tucked away and out of sight, they're doing a very poor job of it. So he's not being neutered. Everybody celebrate because we still get the creative genius of Bray Wyatt himself. Alright, relax. Breathe. Breathe. I was worried for a while there. What didn't quite materialize in the way we expected though was Samoa Joe turning babyface. After showing concern for Roman Reigns last Tuesday from his car accident, fans saw the seeds being planted of a babyface turn for Joe. Then he saw heel Sami Zayn talking trash about him backstage and had a match with him that he won in 30 seconds. Great babyface stuff. Then he ragged on the crowd and told him he would never forgive them. The reason for this frankly bizarre tease of a babyface turn only to switch back to being a heel again has now been revealed, and Well, it's most certainly something. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio noted that the reason Samoa Joe was booked like a babyface was because Vince McMahon was worried Sami Zayn would get a large pop in Toronto, because he's Canadian, you see. So to counter this, they made Joe a babyface to neuter Zayn's reaction, because fans would pop for a Joe babyface turn and wouldn't boo him on his first night as a babyface, but then turned him back because they don't actually want him as a babyface. It makes perfect sense. So all of this trouble and hassle and character change was just to make sure that Sami Zayn didn't get a pop. I'm sure it was worth it. Disney are unhappy with X-Men New Mutants. What does this mean for the X-Men's future in the MCU? Find out all the details in today's Screen Stalker episode with Ollie and housemate Simon by clicking the video on the screen right now. Press the thumbs up, subscribe, and enable notifications before you go though, and leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of Smackdown. A special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you can see scrolling below me right now. I've been Chopper Pete Quinnell, and that was wrestling.